Hey, what's up YouTube? I am coming at you from my lovely house here in Taidong. After the typhoon kind of made a giant mess, I went all a little bit murder crazy on that tree over there, but now everything is starting to look nice and beautiful and we are finally starting to settle in. Right after we moved in, I posted a video doing a full tour which got like 500,000 views and so many wonderful comments, and the number one question that people asked was how much did it cost? Well, there is no reason to wait any longer. In this video I will reveal the total cost for the house and also talk about the ongoing dispute between myself and the agents and the seller, which is to the tunes of millions of NT dollars. I don't know if you remember this guy here, lawyer Xiaofei. Well, he has been fired because it's his dumbass that done got us into this problem in the first place. So this house costs 1,650万, or about 550,000 US. And before any of you guys say that is a good deal, that's a ridiculous amount of money. I know it's a big house, but it's an old house, it's got a lot of problems, and it's in the countryside. Houses in Taiwan are expensive. Ridiculous. 16.5 million is way more than we wanted to pay, but we just didn't find anything that would be suitable for me and my dad to live in a price range between 8 and 12. So we raised our price range to 15. This of course was listed at much more than 15. This was listed at 19, but had been on the market for over a year and nobody had placed any bids on it. So I thought, hey, why not? Let's give it a shot at 15. Given that this house was a lot more money than we were initially intending to spend and becomes quite a financial burden, the most important thing going into the purchase was that we wouldn't have any surprise giant expenses. The house came with a status report that said very clearly there are no leaks. This is actually wet. This is actually wet as well. And there is no falling concrete. So fantastic, even though it's a lot of money, 15 million, plus, we're gonna need like 20% down payment. So that means we're gonna have to come up with 3 million NT in cash and then borrow the rest and have a mortgage that would, probably be around 40,000 NT. However, we were kind of shot down to size. The agent told us unequivocally that they're not willing to put an offer of 15 on the house. The lowest possible offer they can go, which is 16.50, which from our standpoint is the absolute maximum, as long as all of these additional sort of emergency repairs, like the structure of the house along with the pipe and the roof, were okay and guaranteed, which they were. Also, every bank that we went into just kind of refused to give loans to foreigners. The Taiwan law is pretty clear. You can buy a house, you can get a mortgage, but a lot of banks just simply won't lend to people who don't have a Taiwan 身份证. So eventually I did get a loan though from Taiwan Business Bank, which was great, but their rule for lending to foreigners was 30%. If you have a 身份证, you don't qualify for the first-time homebuyer's interest rate. So now instead of having like 100,000 down and a 40,000 NT mortgage, we have 162,000 down and a 50,000 NT mortgage. And so if we don't have any money left over when we move in, it's okay because we can do things slowly. We're going to be here for a long time. However, once we moved in and started trying to test for leaks and get all of that done, well, all of that, you don't bother testing it because it's written here, guaranteed for 2 years. This is Taiwan law. It's the seller's responsibility. All of that stuff just went out the window and it just became, this is your responsibility. This had been so clear prior to the sale that the roof is good, that there's no leaks, and that even if there were anytime in the next 2 years, this is the seller's responsibility. We were also a little confused because it's we don't talk to the seller directly, and I can understand the seller having to be upset with having to pay the stuff, but why do the agents care? It's not their money. I just don't get it, or at least I didn't get it at the time. Now, this went back and forth for a long time. Now, eventually we found a copy of the house report that said it's guaranteed here, no leaks and no concrete falling and all these other things. And then once we found this document, then it finally changed from it's your responsibility to no, it's not leaking. So they came over and they checked it out. There's this workman there too, and they'll talk to me in Chinese, but to each other they talk Taiwanese, which I don't speak, I don't understand. Just touched the wall and said, it rained 3 days ago, but this wall's still dry, so it's not leaking. And I was like, well, come on, that's not like a reasonable way to test it. Why don't we just hire a leak company? And this made her really, really angry. She's like in my house, like shouting and screaming. I called Yachi, I got her on the phone, gave her to Yachi. She just shouted at Yachi and then hung up the phone on her. It was so weird, it was so bizarre, it really, really, really made me feel unsafe. And so that is when we said, look, we need some like professional help, and we put out some messages on Facebook. Thank you, everybody who responded. I got so much like good advice from the community, and ended up meeting with some people here in Taidong, and they looked at our contract and they're like, yeah, where's the rest of it? Very, very thin. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this is the contract. It's like, no, where's the rest of it? Like, by Taiwanese law, it's supposed to have this, 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 and this. And we're like, no, this is what we got.
总公司的名字，但这个不是总公司的合约啊。
And then they're like, okay, well, where's the deed to the house? And we're like, well, we don't have it. It was never given to us. Like, do you even own the house? And then we like had this like freak out moment where we had to like trace down to figure out like if we even own the house. Turns out we did. I guess, we have the bank to thank for that, because they, wouldn't issue a mortgage, I guess, unless we own it. We still don't have the deed to the house. We've asked the agent for it.
Honest Real Estate Agency. So we're here to get some documents, and let's see if they'll give them to us.
She's refused to give it to us.
So we just left the Honest Real Estate Agency. They acknowledge that the deed to the house is, of course, my document and it belongs to me, but refused to give it to me. But all the other documents, the full contract, the lady there is just completely surprised that we don't have it. But also can't give it to us.
And so I don't know what the legal basis is for them not giving me the deed to the house that I bought, but that's the situation. Anyway, going back, things were like out of control. Like this was, like I'm smiling now, but like that's only because if I don't smile, I'm gonna cry. So, they were basically denying that it was leaking, and we're saying like we're gonna get tested, and they're like, well, we're gonna send somebody over there to just like fix it right away, fix it today. Here, sign this piece of paper that's gonna like give away your rights. And we like didn't do any of that. After like the shouting episode, that was like kind of good that happened, because that like scared the crap out of us and just made us immediately go seek outside help, which obviously we should have done from the very beginning. And so like when they kept trying to like send people over to fix it, like no, I was like, if anybody comes over, I'm calling the police. Like nobody's going in there and painting on anything until we get the tests done. And in the end it wouldn't really matter because we got the test done. There's just like water like pouring down from the ceiling.
Water's just pouring in there. Oh, look at that now. It's been raining for several days now, and we're starting to see the damage to the structure. You can see these kind of cracks here, and new ones have appeared. Now they're becoming quite big. This is actually wet. So this is actually wet as well.
There's also water coming in from that window, and also up here in that corner there. We also have water coming in right here from the window. Now we've gone from like, okay, leaks are your problem, to okay, it's not leaking, to okay, it's leaking, but it's gonna be really cheap to fix, so we'll do it in a very cheap way. That's like sort of the situation we are now, where we're trying to like make a deal with the seller and the agent about the repairs on the house. And I think that like making a deal with the seller will probably be pretty easy. He seems like a very like reasonable and like honest and upstanding guy, but like the agents go through like so many like hoops and hurdles and make us like dance around all this stuff and like make us feel so unsafe that like we just can't do it that way. I mean, we have to go through them. We just can't even talk to them without a lawyer present, which is fine because they're not even like talking to us anyway for like just like some simple thing. Like anytime we send them a message, it just takes ages to get a reply. So we have some issue with like the hot water pipe and like the pump there, and just said like, what should we do about it? And it's very clearly like written in the contract, like it's their responsibility and they're going to take care of it. And their response is just like, send me a letter from the lawyer. And so communication has broken down. The root cause of all of this is that when we bought the house, the contract, that document that shows the condition of the house, which under Taiwan law, when buying a secondhand home, it is required by law to have this into the sales contract, it's not in the contract. Now, whether that's intentional or an accident, I don't know. I'm not going to try to speculate at like why that mistake happened. But regardless of any intention or accident or however this came about, the result of this document not being in the contract is that I'm willing to pay more and the seller is willing to accept less. And so we both feel, well, I assume he feels that way, I can't speak for him, but I feel this way, and I expect him to feel the same way, that we're both being cheated by the other. But actually, neither of us is trying to cheat each other, it's just that the paperwork was severely mishandled. So much about this is like, divergent from what Taiwan law says it needs to be. Now there's just even like the inability to communicate, messages aren't being replied to. Like, we said, okay, it's gonna cost us 1.8 million to fix all that stuff. You're welcome to like give us sort of a counter offer. It took a long time, but eventually I gave one of like, 500,000, which is kind of a joke considering all the issues that are happening with the house, leaking in the roof, leaking in 2 bathrooms, leaking from the walls. I didn't even know what's going to happen at this point. The whole thing is just such a stressful experience because like there's rain coming in, like as it's raining, like the walls are like cracking and like the paint's peeling and like it's getting like worse and worse. And I just want to get it like taken care of, but it costs like millions NT that I don't have. We said 1.8, but once we start doing it, it could be like even more and more than that. I don't know. Like we got one person saying it's going to be as much as 4. It's just a disaster. I don't know anywhere else to put it, but if you're wondering why you haven't seen like, things coming out of, me going out having fun, it's because I haven't had any fun. I've been stuck at home dealing with this situation. Anyway, if you want to help, the best thing you can give me right now is advice. The next thing you can do is like, subscribe, share my videos. I make some income off of YouTube. That's going to have to go to like repairs for sure. And I don't know, we have shirts. These shirts are awesome. They're amazing. They're the most comfortable shirts you'll ever wear. I'm not just saying that. I wear them all the time because even though I have other shirts in my closet, the ones that I always want to wear are these ones. So those are the ways to support me. Thank you so much. Love you all. You have a wonderful day.